Jesse on fire. $1 trillion bet on Trump. Here we go.
I want to start this video off by posing a question to you guys. Do you think that there are people in our society that are completely above the law? And when I say above the law, I mean absolutely 100% above the law, like where they can do anything that they want and there will never be any repercussions. There's nothing they could plausibly do or get caught for where they will end up in jail. And I want you to seriously think about that before you answer in your own mind. I actually am past the part where I sound angry or indignant. I think that this is just demonstrating to the world exactly what they wanted it to, right? Because I'm going to show you information that puts the Soros family, the Rothschilds family, the Cheneys, the Bushes, right in the center of this thing in a way that is so damning that it's kind of unbelievable. But the first one that I'm going to show you right here, when this Secret Service gentleman is going to tell you a fact that I had not heard until last night, that I don't know if you feel like you can explain this in any other way other than that's probably the most damning circumstantial evidence that I've ever heard in any case ever. I would love to hear what that explanation would be. And then we're going to get to the meat and bones of this thing that does absolutely connect the people that I just laid out or those groups out to this thing. And here's the reason why I have no concerns about saying this.
Okay, so this is Jesse on fire. And I want to get into what he's saying here because I said this in another video I just did, a review or a reaction to a review of, and there are, in my opinion, and honestly, I don't think it's just an opinion at this point. I think it's fact that there are people that are 100% above the law that don't answer to law. They could pretty much do anything. They could get caught doing anything, like he said, and they're never going to get so much as charged, let alone arrested. They'll never see the inside of a jail cell or a courtroom or a prison or anything like that. They'll never be in a pair of handcuffs. So let's check it out.
They want you to know. I am doing what they want. They want you to know. I really mean that. They want you to know. They're definitely not going to face repercussions, and they want you to know that they did this, it's them, and they're not going to face any repercussions because there is an order to the world. This is the way that they see it, in my opinion. They think that there is an order to the world and that they are at the top of that order, and it's important that people understand that because that way people like, Donald Trump will not come out and challenge the way that he has. He has just directly stuck a finger in their chest. I'm not sure if he really understood exactly.
That's why they hate Trump, right? Because they hate Donald Trump because they can't control him. Now, I'm not saying that he's not the savior. He's not the answer to everything. He's one man, but he's the best that we've got right now for a presidential candidate. And personally, I think he's a good guy. Is he perfect? No, none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect. We're all far, 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 far from it. But the true answer to all of our problems as a country is we the people. We the people need to get together and stop complaining and just organize and do something about it. Even if it's, we have to build a system outside of their system to be successful. We have to decrease our dependency on the system. It's kind of like starving the monster. Let's starve the monster so the monster eventually cease to exist, or if you starve it long enough, it'll lose a lot of weight, and then it'll be a fraction of what it was, right? We got to quit our dependency on the system. Makes the system stronger.
Who he was up against when he started, but at this point, they tried to shoot him in the face and tell the entire world they did it, and they wanted you to find out they did it, and simultaneously in the same moment find out that their global influence has increased by a factor of hard to calculate.
Hard to calculate.
How could you say that those guys could have their global influence increased? You'll see. You'll see. So let's jump right into this thing. Now, before we get started, I have a really quick confession to make. I was actually asked to be a part of this conspiracy by someone at Crack Rock. They were like, look, man, do you want to provide a little bit of help, a little bit of air cover after this happens? And I was like, I'm going to ask you a question before I answer. Are you subscribed to my YouTube channel? And they were like, nah, man, we don't really subscribe to
Right.
YouTube channels. I was like, then no. The answer is no. Because anytime someone asks me something, I just ask, are you subscribed? And if they say yes, then I say yes. And if they say no, then I say no. So if you want to have a permanent yes from me, all you have to do is subscribe. And if you want me to say no to everything, then just don't. You know what I mean? BlackRock could have had me. Could have been a real ally in this thing. That's obviously a joke. I would have never been involved. But nonetheless, just subscribe to the channel because I'll try to at least entertain you when I ask. You know what I mean?
Clearly
Here
a
is the
joke.
first part that I found out about last night when I watched Miss C Social's video on this. And if this does not get your spidey sense up to a level beyond where it already was, then you're not like me, because this is a shocking admission.
Can you confirm that this was the first 2024 campaign event that counter sniper teams were assigned to the former president?
It was the first time Secret Service counter snipers were deployed to support the former president's detail.
So since Trump has left office, the Secret Service has never provided counter snipers for Trump. But the first time that they do it since he's left office happens to be the same day Thomas Crooks shows up. Interesting.
Interesting is right. And guess what? There's a lot more to this story coming in this video about Thomas Crooks and the connection to all of this, right? Connected to exactly what I alluded to earlier. But let's just talk really quick about what she just said, okay? Or what, I'm sorry, what the Secret Service just said, which is that they confirmed right there in front of the entire world that they had never once provided counter snipers to the Trump campaign until this event, okay?
That's actually pretty good, guys. Sparkling frost. It is pineapple coconut, and no, I am not associated with them in any way, nor am I getting money for this in any way. But it's kind of a glare on it. But anyway, just thought I'd show that to you guys. It's really good. It's refreshing. Yeah, this girl that he's talking about, she does a good video, a good review video of, she does a good video of all this.
Now,
Definitely.
was anything else going on throughout this event that was a first-time deal? Because I can think of one thing, which was left-wing mainstream media outlets streaming it.
Oh yeah, they were live streaming it. You gotta think about that. Live streaming it, and then all of a sudden, for the first time, they're live streaming it. Seems a little suspicious to me.
Okay? Now, I always found that wildly suspicious. Why would they do that? I remember that the left-wing media had like a total Trump blackout for a long time. Why on earth would they stream or show in any way a live Trump rally? Okay?
If you're not making
This
$158,000
guy.
per year,
Who
but
is
you'd
this
like
guy?
to, I strongly encourage you to start.
Buddy.
And believe me, we're going to
Trying
come
to
back
watch
to the
a
counter
video.
snipers, but I just want to make this point also. Their entire strategy with him has always been, do not let people see him speak in long form. Take out things in context, absent context, put them together so that you can frame it in a way that makes him look bad, right? I'm not saying every single thing that he has said has been great, but certainly the only things that the left-wing media are going to show you are going to make him look bad, and in many cases they are things that are completely misrepresented. The bloodbath thing? Really? The bloodbath thing? He's threatening violence against the population. What are you talking about? He said it's going to be an economic bloodbath because he is going to impose a 100% tariff on automotive imports from Mexico because China is building these enormous car plants that are going to be used to build American cars and then import them from Mexico, which means we're going to lose all the American automotive jobs. So he said, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm going to impose a 100% tariff on that. Otherwise, if I lose, it's going to be a bloodbath. And they framed that all over the place as if he had made a genuine threat against the population. It's ludicrous. Complete lie.
And remember who the father of lies and deceptions is, right? Or lies and deception. These people, I'm thoroughly convinced that these people they're going to lie and cheat and steal. And I guarantee the next one's going to be stolen, just like the last one.
So why on earth would they put him in front of the population in long form and let them see what he's actually saying? Unless, maybe they knew that something was coming, would be what I would be suspicious of. Now, as far as the counter snipers, though, let's think about that for a second, okay? If you think about the way this whole thing played out, right? First, you need to think about what is the way this needs to play out for the high-level conspirators, if that is what's happening, right? They need someone to shoot Trump or appear to shoot Trump, and then they need to get shot in the same moment so that you can tell the world that it's a single lone gunman, which coincidentally is exactly what the FBI did do 24 hours later before they were able to get inside of the shooter's phone.
Yeah, 24 hours later. So they weren't even in the guy's phone yet. And they're like, oh, yeah, he's a lone shooter. Yeah. Oh, if you've been able to get in his phone yet? Well, oh, no, we haven't got in there yet. But he was a lone shooter. That's 100%.
And check any of his communications. So we somehow had a guy just waiting to speak to the media to tell them, like, listen, man, this guy is a loner. He's a weirdo. He always was by himself. He wore military fatigues at school. He just didn't have any friends, man. They're all, wait, where'd you find this guy so fast? It's like, he just really wanted to talk, man. He just really wanted to talk. And he did call him a loner over and over. So he's a loner, right? And you're like, all right. So you called him a loner, and the FBI, hey, have you guys gotten into his devices yet? They're like, no, we have not. We cannot get into his device. You're all, okay. So we'll talk about that for a couple of days. And then 3 days later, they're all, now we are in his device. You're all, but did you just say, like, 48 hours ago that you know for sure that he's a lone gunman? Like, you actually said to the media, he acted alone. Like, you said that, right? You said that he acted alone? Yes, we did. Okay. Did you have time to look at any forensic evidence from the scene? A little bit.
That's why I'm saying I want to see ballistics, because there was definitely more than one shooter. I want to see ballistics. Let's find the bullets and do ballistics and see if they came from the shooter's gun, because I guarantee you not all of them came from the shooter's gun. Guarantee you.
A little bit. Because it's been 24 hours. I seem to recall when you guys did an investigation into Russiagate, it took you like 3 years to come up with whether or not there was anything there. There turned out there wasn't, except for evidence that a lot of it had been completely fabricated on purpose. But I'm just saying, it took you guys a really long time to investigate things, and Robert Mueller's the one who did that investigation. He used to run the FBI, so I would assume that the protocols are at least semi-similar given the severity of taking a shot at a former president who is leading in the polls, right? I mean, like, you would probably take more than 24 hours to decide whether or not the guy had done it by himself, because if not, then you going out and saying that to the media is extraordinarily suspect. You know what I mean?
Really
and
weird.
So you're already there, and then you think to yourself, wait, this is the very first time that they had counter snipers? Really? Well, isn't that a shocking coincidence? You know what I mean?
Shocking.
So that is unbelievably suspicious. So I imagine everybody's
shocked.
ears perked up, especially when I mentioned George Soros being connected directly to this, because
I'm shocked. So shocked. Well, not that shocked.
in my opinion, this guy is...
That's from what cartoon is that from? Anyway, yeah, check this out. Soros.
like Dr. Evil. But this story, I know everybody already knows this, right? The Austin Private Wealth LLC that shorted the Trump stock. I'm not sure if everybody knew this, but the biggest shareholders in that fund are BlackRock, Vanguard, the Cheney family, the Soros family, and the Rothschild family. So let me pose a question about that, right? If you were going to make a list of the people who would most likely be involved in an elite, high-level conspiracy to put Donald Trump in the pasture forever, which people would you choose, or which groups would you choose if you were going to itemize them? Or let's say you just had like 100 of the global elites listed.
Gee, I don't know. Which ones might you think were involved? Let's have some deep thought on that one, shall we?
And on the list were the Rothschild family, the Cheneys, the Bushes, Vanguard, and BlackRock. Would those be your top 5 most likely entities that be involved in something like this? Because for 100% sure, they would be mine. I'm talking like number 1 through number 5.
Yep.
You're not even going to think of another group or entity that would be above any of those guys. And those are the owners of the Austin Private Wealth LLC, who shorted Donald Trump's stock the day before on July 12th.
And they have trillions of dollars under their management. And these people seem to be above the law, and they seem to somehow magically know about all of these events that are occurring before they happen. A little weird, isn't it?
This happened on the 13th. And here's the thing. There is way more to this stock play than I realized, and it is like...
And yes, you've got to emphasize the H before the W, because it's spelled HW. Weird.
Beware of day trading options. It's one of the fastest ways to lose all of your money. This is what some people will keep telling.
All of it.
I don't even know what to even say about this. I'm going to read this to you guys, and I want you guys to listen very closely to this and then try to wrap your brain around what this actually means, okay? So Austin Private Wealth LLC, financial services, reported they shorted 15 million shares of Donald Trump stock, DJT, via a put option on July 12th, 2024. Now, they were able to reverse that bet, by the way. Can you imagine trying to reverse a bet with after you made one and then the opposite thing that you thought was going to happen? Oh, it was a decimal point mistake. We absolutely did not mean to make that big of a bet on the death of Donald Trump.
Yeah, they can just reverse bets. These people exist completely outside of our system, right? It's kind of like if you can imagine the Earth. We all live on the Earth, and then these guys are out there like a little satellite. They're just floating around the Earth. They're outside the system, completely independent of the effects of gravitation or anything. They're totally independent of all of our laws, and they're not affected by them. And they can just do whatever they want, and they're just out there rotating around and existing completely outside of our court systems and our entire system. They exist completely outside of our entire system.
The day before he got shot. Okay. It is ironic that BlackRock, Vanguard of George Soros are the two biggest shareholders in Austin Private Wealth. One might recollect that the sniper, Thomas Matthew Crooks, has appeared in one of the BlackRock television commercials. That is weird.
Very weird.
Huh. That is weird, huh?
Fascinating, Captain.
So, oh wow, look at this. FBI discovers 3 overseas bank accounts on Thomas Crook's phone. I guess we're going to have to look at that next, too. I actually have not seen that yet. So a put option is basically you're short selling, and here's the big part to understand, okay? People who engage in inside trading buy put options to make 5x or sometimes even 100x profits depending on how quickly the stock plummets.
Now pay attention to this. Put options can be really quick ways to make a lot of money. A lot of money.
Okay? If Trump did die in the assassination attempt, his company would have become worthless. Its stock would have become zero in a day. The people who bought put options would have made billions in profits. Okay, we already knew that, right? However, here's what we did not know. Okay? Here's what we did not know. In the case of events like Trump's death, the value of Trump Media and Technology Corp shares would have plummeted, and the put options held by would have been worth billions. According to reports, Austin Private Wealth LLC had also bought 36 million puts of Rumble on July 12th. Okay? It is common knowledge that Rumble stock would have plummeted too if something had happened to Trump. They bought put options on Rumble and Trump the day before he got shot.
I mean, gee, I wonder why.
Now, watch this, okay? Austin Private Wealth LLC, largest investors primarily include a mix of institutional funds and individual high net worth clients. Some of their top holdings, as reported in their last 13F filing, include the Rothschild family, BlackRock, Vanguard, Meta, George Bush, and the Cheney family, okay?
And by the way, I've had a personal close encounter with the Rothschild family, and it was really weird to say the least. To say the least.
Check this out. Trump's death would have crashed the NASDAQ and Dow Jones for a week, according to our estimates. Anyone with who had this knowledge beforehand would have made an estimated 696 billion to 1 trillion in profits.
You guys heard that, right?
696 billion to 1 trillion in profits.
Just a little bit of money.
Okay.
Still
Now, to be clear, the way that they worded this is a little bit slippery now that I'm reading it. And it, like, just to be clear, it makes it sound like they would have made $1 trillion in profits.
All right, guys, we're back after a brief and momentary recess. Here we go.
This is a little bit slippery now that I'm reading it. And it, like, just to be clear, it makes it sound like they would have made $1 trillion in profits on those two bets. That's not what they're saying. They're saying it would have crashed the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones for a week. But anybody who had knowledge beforehand would have made an estimated 696 to 1 trillion in profits. Here's the thing.
Would have crashed it for a week. Did you guys catch that? A week. That's how much money we're talking about.
Right? I will say absolutely overtly that I do not believe that there is almost any chance whatsoever that these guys did not know this was coming, given the size of those two bets and who was involved. Okay? And again, they don't care if you know, because they will never face repercussions. There is no scenario where they face repercussions. It won't happen. And do you understand what you can do with an additional $1 trillion? That's what.
A whole lot. And yeah, these people will never have any repercussions. They'll never see the inside of a jail cell. They'll never even so much as get charged with a crime or arrested. And you can do, there was a good example. Okay, listen to this. To give you an idea of how much $1 trillion is. So if you have let's see if I can get this right. If you have a plane, let's say it's a military plane, flying at the speed of sound, you have $1 trillion on a spool on the back of the plane. You open the back of the plane, and you let that spool of $1 bills, 1 trillion $1 bills, spool out of the back of the plane. At the speed of sound, it would take a year to spool that entire thing out. Did you hear what I said? A year at the speed of sound to get rid of the whole thing. That's $1 trillion. Wow.
Why I said increase their global influence by an exponential number. And I realize, like, hey, you know, Vanguard has like 16 trillion. Vanguard and BlackRock combined is, I don't even know, 26 trillion or some enormous number like that, right? I understand that. But what people don't understand is that Vanguard is like a culmination of everybody's retirement accounts and all that stuff, whatever. It's not like, a lot of this is family money that would go to these guys. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Bottom line, if you're talking about $1 trillion in profits, you think that those are the only two bets that these guys made?
No,
so
absolutely not.
Between those two bets, the amount of money they stood to make, the fact that the counter snipers were there for the first time, you know what I mean? I don't even know what to do with that. Now, let's take a look at this piece of information also. We have a confirmed...
Really let that sink in, guys. Really just take a moment and really let that sink in. And again, were these the same people that put options on stocks just before 9/11?
Third shooter, verified by the mainstream media. How did this not get the attention that it deserves? Okay, so let's watch this little section, and then we'll discuss what this means, because all of a sudden, a month later, there's a third shooter verified by the Washington Post.
Was supposed to start at 5 p.m., you would think that Crooks would have been in position at 5 p.m. At 5:32 p.m., he was spotted using a rangefinder. So, how did he know he still had more time to prepare? Was he tipped off, or was it just a lucky guess? What do you guys think? And there's been a lot of speculation about a second shooter because of the sound of the ballistics. Take a listen.
been looking for the past year.
Guys, that's two totally different sounds. Two totally different sounds. Oh, what the? The guy's nose is running or something. What is?
Here to get these dental implants put in, because otherwise it would.
Many experts agree that it sounds like there was a third mystery gunman, and well, the FBI has come out and confirmed that yes, there was a third gun that was fired. They said it was law enforcement firing at Crooks. Quote, the officer, who was not a sniper, had left the barn and was outside on the ground nearby when Crooks began firing from the rooftop about 110 yards away, the official said. The local officer saw the muzzle flashes from Crooks' rifle, the official said, and fired his rifle at Crooks.
That catches us up, right? That catches us up a little bit. So all of a sudden, right, when all the videos come out and it's clear audio that there is another shooter, the feds are like, yeah. I know we said that he acted alone 24 hours later, but it turns out there was a third shooter. We just never mentioned it. You know, it was a cop that took a shot at Crooks. You're like, did he hit him? Where did that shot go? Where was he positioned? What are you talking about? How is this just coming out a month later? And how is this not a bigger deal? You know?
And oops, sorry guys. And where are the ballistics? Where are the ballistics? There was at least two shooters. So what happened, I saw one video where they said there was a guy on the water tower. There's a video of that. Someone caught it. They were taking a wide shot of the area with their cell phone. You can clearly see somebody on the water tower. And there was also speculation through some evidence or reasoning that there was somebody else in a window. In addition to Crooks being on top of that building right across from Trump. So, ballistics, people. I want ballistics.
How is this not a bigger deal? It is, to me, extraordinarily shady, just like every other part of this story. But third shooter confirmed. Nice. Now, everybody knows my favorite topics are media manipulation. Let's just see how the media has spun this story a little bit, and I will react live. I have not watched this section yet, so I assume it's going to be infuriating. Let's see.
We believe they purposefully set up the circumstances to allow for Crooks to do this. And even the way the media has reported Crooks speaks volumes. Rather than use more recent pictures of Crooks, they show us images of him in high school. He's a 20-year-old man, not a teenage boy, and they want us to believe he was this loner loser who had no friends and he acted alone, telling us he was mercilessly bullied in school, and then releasing videos like this. Oh no! Someone was tugging on his pants and a girl was giggling. Oh, that's so awful. Stop. Stop this. Stop. That's not bullying, that's flirting.
I love this chick. She's super cool. She's super cool.
What you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say it.
Anyways, that's all.
Yeah. How about Trayvon Martin?
That's
is
right.
What we were looking for there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
used to see this picture over here on the left, the one that was in the Hollister shirt. You know, like he's a little baby. He was like, 12 years old.
They never showed this until they only ever showed the innocent pictures of him until far after everything was said and done. Still a sad story though, very sad.
And then when, after the trial, it's like, you guys want to see some recent pictures? It's like, why do we need to see recent pictures? Oh, I don't know. You know, he looks a little bit different. He's got a gold teeth, like a gold, I'm not saying that the kid deserves to get shot and killed, but I am certainly saying that they intentionally misrepresent the people in order to.
Yeah, that's definitely not saying that the poor kid deserved to die, but they were definitely clearly the mainstream media has been manipulating stuff for probably since the dawn of the mainstream media
To make it as sensational as possible. Listen, everybody does that. Okay, if I do a video about I don't know, fill in the blank, Conor McGregor going on a rampage, do you think that I search for Conor like smiling, like, you know, in the octagon? I look for one where he's outside the ring and he's like, it's just an extreme example. But this is way more dishonest, wildly dishonest. They do it on purpose. You know, I'll tell you a story about the most infuriating example of that ever, and me actually getting the opportunity to confront the media people for doing it. And this was before I understood what, you know, like the nature of this whole beast. Okay, so in 2014 probably, or 2013, 2014, I don't know. This is before I realized the media was completely dishonest. There was a story from the brand new stadium, Levi Stadium in San Jose, which is the 49ers stadium. It was like the first year that it was open. I think it was actually before the 49ers even started like playing there. There was an event, and the story on KTVU in which is the Bay Area, like local news, like I think it might be a Fox affiliate. Don't quote me on that. So,
This is going to be interesting.
oh, but it is KTVU. They ran this story about a wild situation where police brutality was a problem. And the police they had beat this guy up, like really put it on some guy, right? So they show this video of the dude like attacking the police. And what's funny about that is I had seen the full video on the internet prior to that, okay? So here's exactly what this guy's like 300 pounds. He's one of the biggest dudes ever, okay? And what happened was he was wasted and he went insane, right? He was crazy, and he punches one of the cops in the face. Now, if you are a person with a brain, what do you expect to happen if you punch a cop in the face? They're probably going to hit you with batons and do whatever they have to do to restrain you, which is exactly what happened. Okay, they had like two cops on one side. One of them was trying to hit him like to get him down. But what part of that situation do you think KTVU edited out of the clip that they showed? You know, if you were going to, I don't know, indict the police for police brutality in a situation where they didn't deserve it. Like, if you were just going to cut out, let's say, 1 second of the clip, what do you think you would cut out? Oh, the part where he punched the cop, right? And that's exactly what they did. They straight up edited. They didn't have any problem with people getting hit because they're showing the cops hitting him with the clubs. So, like, the part that they intentionally edited out was the part where he punched the cop. And I couldn't believe it. And, like, when I say I couldn't believe it, like,
Guys, that's what they call dirty pool. That's some real dirty pool right there.
could not believe it. I could not believe that they would do something so dishonest, right? It's like laughable now. You know, like now that's just completely standard procedure. So 2 years later, in 2015, I'm in Las Vegas. Good buddy of mine who's a firefighter in the Bay Area. He ended up coming out to Vegas too. I was there for business, but I told him he could stay with me in my suite. So like we're just wrapping out, and I tell him that story. You know, we were talking about something, and he goes, "Dude, my sister is like in charge of programming at KTVU." I'm like, "Shut up." He's like, "No, yeah." I'm like, "For how long?" He's like, "I don't know, 5 years." I was like, "Dude, let me talk to her." Because again, to me, this was like a one-time thing that was so egregious. I couldn't believe it. I told that story 100 times. So he gets her on the phone, all right? He gets her on the phone, and she's like, "Hi." And she's like, "I don't really, you know," it's like her younger brother, right? Like, you know, I mean, she's kind of like, "Why am I talking to you?" I'm like, "Listen, I have to ask you a question about something that happened at KTVU. I'm wondering if you were involved, and if you were, why you did it." So I asked her the question, and she literally goes like this. She's like, "What?" She's like, "I'm sorry, you're breaking up, man. You're really breaking up." And then she hung up on me. I was like, wow. Now,
why does that not surprise me?
Now, is that directly in line with what you would expect now? Yes, it is.
100%. Oh, he just said 100%.
100%. But that happened. Absolutely swear on my children that exact story happened. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Again, I was naive back then. I thought that was like a one-time deal. I didn't realize the media literally spins every single story like that. But
Pretty much every story.
You know. Yep. Anyway, they're disgusting. That's what I got for today. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
The brain power you want is not in a bottle, capsule, or magic lamp.
The brain power. The brain power you want is not in a capsule. So, go check out his channel again, Jesse on Fire. Super cool channel, super cool guy, super cool videos. I'll leave a link in the description. Not a link in the subscription. as my brain sometimes wants to say. A link in the description so you guys can go check out this this particular video, and let me know what you think. Some excellent points made there. Some excellent points. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one ready to upload for you guys. All right, we'll see you soon.